Well, lawyers for a black FedEx driver who was shot at while on the job by two white men demanding serious charges be filed against his accused shooters. The attorneys for 24-year-old D Monterrio Gibson say the suspects, Gregory and Brandon Case, shot at Gibson Friday night while Gibson was in uniform in Brookhaven. Gibson says shots were fired into his FedEx vehicle, damaging packages. Gregory and Brandon were arrested in connection to the incident and released on bond Tuesday. Gibson says since the incident, he's been having PTSD.
I have been having a lot of anxiety and trauma. I have slight panic attacks and things of that nature. I'm currently getting into therapy to try to handle.
Now, Gibson's attorneys are comparing this incident to the Ahmaud Arbery case. Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, was gunned down by three white men in a Georgia subdivision back in 2020. The men have since been convicted and are now on trial for federal hate crimes charges.
Peace. This is the enemy's public, and I am Bro.Nasir. You know, I often ask the question, why is white America so violent? Why are they so murderous? I know in our communities we have some problems that we have to remedy. I know this emphatically. A lot of people bring up black on black crime, which is no such thing, you know, because when white people kill each other, it's just called crime. It's not called white on white crime. No one is putting a race label on anything besides when black people do something. Yet, I would start off by saying that anything that we do, if it's to the detriment of our people, it is mere stupidity. We shouldn't do anything that's to the detriment of our people. Now, the reason why I ask, is white America violent? I don't have to answer the question because white America answers the question through their actions. Now, we heard of the story of our sister Breonna Taylor, murderous so-called law enforcement breaking into her apartment, and her boyfriend defended the house, and they sprayed the house, riddled the house with bullets, murdering her, and then tried to charge him with attempted murder when they were the aggressor. And we heard of recently our brother Amir Locke. The police in Minneapolis broke into his apartment, at least where he was staying. The young brother Amir Locke had a carrier's permit, open carry, and they lied about announcing themselves before entering. They didn't announce themselves until they were already in the apartment. They kicked the couch, startling the young brother. Of course, most of us, when we wake up, 99.99% of us is incoherent. And if someone wake you up screaming and shouting, unfamiliar faces, of course, you're going to reach for a weapon. That's why I say no-knock warrants is a death sentence. And any judge that signs one is trying to get the person who law enforcement is seeking murdered. Especially when they end up going in the wrong apartment. As the case with the Detroit Police Department when the young sister Aiyana Jones was murdered. And then, of course, we have Botham Jean in Dallas, Texas. And recently, we had 2 race soldiers. Race soldiers is not just police officers. Anybody white who's out here murdering our people are race soldiers. Gregory and Travis McMichaels, who chased down Ahmaud Arbery and murdered him. Now, we have a very recent story that's of the same liking. Now, a young brother who was a FedEx driver was delivering packages to his customers. And 2 white men chased him down in a truck, cornered him off. The only thing that was different was this brother was in a vehicle. He was not jogging. He was in I believe it was a Hertz vehicle rented by FedEx. And the young brother was in a FedEx uniform, so they knew he was working. Now, according to the news sources, they said 2 white men were arrested this week after a FedEx worker, a black FedEx worker in Mississippi, accused them of chasing and shooting him as he tried to drop off a delivery. A case that has drawn comparison to the 2020 killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Gregory Case and his son Brandon Case were arrested Tuesday in connection with the January 24th incident. The elder Case faces a charge of conspiracy, while Brandon Case is charged with shooting in a motor vehicle. D Monterrio Gibson, 24-year-old brother, said the men pursued him because he is black. And Gibson's attorney are asking for the men to face federal hate crime charges, rightfully so. Black drivers are afraid to deliver packages in certain neighborhoods, Carlos E. Moore, one of Gibson's attorneys, said at a Thursday news conference, adding that many black delivery drivers across the country have shared similar experiences with him since January 24th attack. This was racism, plain and simple, Moore added. No ifs, ands, or buts. Gibson's lawyer said that the case is similar to the 2020 murder of Ahmaud Arbery, a 25-year-old brother who was shot and killed being chased by 3 white men through a Georgia subdivision. The 3 men, including the father and son, were sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of murder this year. The men are also charged in federal hate crimes. Now, on the heels of the death of Ahmaud Arbery, we could have, the same situation with the brother D Monterrio Gibson, because there's very good similarities to the case. Now, the brother said, D Monterrio Gibson, wow, I have family with that name, Gibson. At first, he said he was reluctant about speaking up, but then realized it was bigger than himself. He said at the news conference, he said it's by the grace of God that he's alive to tell his story. So many like Ahmaud Arbery and others were not able to tell their stories. Gibson said he arrived in the neighborhood of Brookhaven, Mississippi, about 55 miles south of Jackson, Mississippi, around 7 p.m. before he pulled up into a driveway to drop off a package. As he began to exit the driveway in his van, Gibson saw a white pickup truck pull away from another house on the lot. Gibson said the truck tried to cut him off as he exited the driveway, causing Gibson to swerve around him. Then he said another man was standing in the street pointing a gun at his vehicle. Gibson said that the man shot at his vehicle as he drove away, and the white pickup truck chased him for about 7 minutes until he got out or got onto a nearby interstate highway. Gibson said that the man fired 4 or 5 shots, but he found several more bullet holes in the van when he returned to the FedEx location. After the incident, Gibson called police and filed a report, he said. Gibson told reporters he had a FedEx uniform on at the time of the shooting. While his van was rented by FedEx, he said it did not have a FedEx logo on it. He said he had no interaction with the men before the shooting, adding it came out of nowhere. Moore said it is common for FedEx to rent vans that don't have the company logo on it. We have not heard one time that a white person who worked for FedEx was assaulted and chased like this, he said. This has everything to do with racism, not because the vehicle was unmarked. Especially when you see the man delivering packages and the man has a FedEx uniform on. Moore said the suspect or suspects, Brandon Case and his father Gregory Case, turned themselves into police February 1st, the Mississippi Free Press and the Washington Post reported. The attorneys representing the cases, Terrell Stubbs for the father and Dan Kitchens for the son, did not immediately respond to the request for comments. When asked why the cases weren't arrested until more than a week after the incident, Brookhaven Police Department Chief Ken Collins told CNN that investigations takes time. You know, the mockery of this situation is the police chief denied that it was about racism, and he denied that racism even exists in Brookhaven, Mississippi, when Brookhaven is known for lynchings. And what's crazy about that, this is coming from a bought and paid for black man who is denying what the brother told him. A black police chief who knows the history of a town that he's the police chief in, denied that it was about racism, or denied that racism exists at all in the city of Brookhaven, Mississippi. Collins did not respond to several U.S. Today requests for comment. Gibson's lawyers said the cases were undercharged for their connection to the shooting. Yes, they were undercharged. They should have been charged with attempted murder, because whenever you shoot at someone, there's a very good chance that you're going to kill them. So that's attempted murder. Adding that they believe hate crime charges are warranted, Moore said he wants the cases to be immediately arrested for attempted murder as well. And why are they denying the fact that this was attempted murder? And why did they undercharge him? Why did the chiefs not step in and charge these men properly? This is attempted murder. They tried to do the same exact thing after seeing this nationwide case with Ahmaud Arbery and the McMichaels. They attempted to do the same exact thing with our brother, D Monterrio Gibson. A U.S. Department of Justice spokesperson confirmed to the Associated Press on Thursday that the department had received a request to review the case, and they should. Moore said that FedEx's response to the incident was also less than than optimal, because Gibson's manager put him on the same route the next day. After 2 days, Gibson couldn't bear it, Moore said. So his manager sent him home without pay. But Moore acknowledged that FedEx is paying for Gibson's therapy. No, they should pay for everything. They should pay him, and they should pay him for everything. FedEx takes situations of this nature very seriously and was shocked by this criminal act against our team member, D Monterrio Gibson. FedEx said in a statement to USA Today, the safety of our team members is our top priority. Then why would you send him back on the same route the next day? Why would you send any driver on that route who is black? Why would you send any black driver on that route? Then they said the safety of our team members is our top priority, and we remain focused on his well-being. I think he would be doing well if he had his therapy paid for. He was also, his livelihood was also protected also. He was still getting paid for being off, because that is a medical situation, because the brother is probably suffering from PTSD from being almost murdered by 2 race soldiers. Now, another thing that people don't take serious these days is the mental health of a black man in America, Gibson said. They think we're so strong because we've been through so much, but we hurt too. Gibson said he had never experienced racism to this extent before, and said he is looking at everything way different now because he's realizing there's still parts of Mississippi that is still racist. Yes, there's parts of Mississippi that is racist. Its whole landscape is racist. We need to wake up and understand that. That's why this backdrop says what it says. The enemy is public. Our enemies are public. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no covert. It's overtly out in your face, chest out racism. Our enemy is public. And Gibson also said it's really scary that you can die doing your job. And it's scary that you could die jogging. And it's scary that you can die eating ice cream, watching football in your own damn apartment. A police officer will come in there and shoot you in your apartment. It's real scary, but what we should do is not be scared. We should be prepared, not scared. Now, that young brother, Amir Locke, should have opened fire on them because they murdered him in cold blood. All this officer safety crap? No. That brother should have thought about himself. See, a lot of us don't think it can happen to us because it hasn't happened to us. Yet, these officers are not training for public safety. They're training for officer safety, and we are paying them to protect each other instead of protecting the public. Their public safety, they are supposed to be law enforcement, but when they're trained on officer safety, and they can care less about the public. And to make mockery of a situation is, the police asked our brother D Monterrio Gibson, what did he do to anger the men who chased him and tried to murder him? They actually asked him that. Instead of being outraged that it could happen in Brookhaven, Mississippi, and go arrest them immediately and charge them with everything that they can charge them with, they actually tried to deny that racism happened. And this is happening under a black police chief. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Our people, again, we need to understand that our skin is our uniform in this war that is waged against us. And we must go accordingly. We must mentally, spiritually, and physically train. And we all should be prepared and stay prepared, because if you are ready and stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Prepare yourself, brother and sisters, and let your children know what kind of world they are walking out into, and don't sugarcoat it. Because they're looking for the good when it's not out there. Let them know that they are safe when they are in your graces, when they are in your bosom, in your presence. That's when they're safe, because if someone do harm to them, that they're going to have to do it to you first. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.